Sort of hard because we had to get the bus because our train station's not accessible. So the next one for us is Piccadilly, Oxford Road, what was only accessible about 2 years ago, and Victoria.
Deanne, how tough is this making life for you?
It's hard really, because like she said, we're going to the MEN on Thursday and she doesn't finish school till a little bit later, so it would be much easier to get a train which takes 20 minutes into Manchester rather than have to sit on a bus.
Just the sort of thing that any 13-year-old wants to do, isn't it, Amber?
Yeah.
So Andy Burnham, this should be sorted out.
It certainly
quickly.
should. Amber challenged me, didn't you, at the question and answer?
I massively challenged
You did.
you.
Rightly.
But it's going to be massively expensive to try and sort this out.
But it's not. It's, for me, it's essential, isn't it? We shouldn't be saying in this day and age that some people can use the station and some people can't.
But where's the money going to come from? You've got the government today saying you want the power to be able to do this, but you don't want to pay for it. You don't want to shell out from your budget.
My pitch to the government is, let us worry about the money. They've failed. They've given up the right to run these stations, and that's why they should let us do it.
The law says these stations have to be accessible from 2020. Are you going to do this any quicker if you take it over?
We would get on with it. We would put more urgency behind it. You know, I would have a funding plan for all of the stations.
Can you really do it any quicker than then?
I think I
of all
could.
the work,
yes,
the
I think I could.
needs to be involved?
Because you can't wait, can you, forever
No.
for these improvements? You know, this is, as I say, this is 2017. The idea that half of our stations are not accessible is just wrong.
So, Deanne, what would you say to Andy Burnham about this, the man in charge of Greater Manchester now? How high a priority should this be when you consider all the other things that are going on in Greater Manchester at the moment? Homelessness, you know, a lot of other problems with transport as well. How important is it that he spends some money on this?
I think he's got it right though. It's about saying some people don't matter.
And how tough is this when you're trying to raise a child to set their sights high and yet effectively your child's being ignored?
So I don't drive, so we have to use public transport. So where we live, it's buses, which are a bit more accessible, but it's a bit of a challenge sometimes. People don't necessarily think a wheelchair space is for a wheelchair.
And the buses aren't always accessible,
No.
Diane, are they? Because not everyone's got a ramp on it.
No.
Doesn't this sometimes make you ashamed of Greater Manchester?
Well, it makes me ashamed of the way in which our transport services have been run and the failure to invest in them. And this is under all governments, by the way. And actually, we continue to see more money being invested in the transport system in London, and we get second best. So
how
it's
quickly
not
could you
acceptable.
sort this out?
Well, as quickly as I possibly can.
So give us a time limit on
I'm
that.
asking the government
You know,
now.
Amber's growing up, isn't she? She can't
Absolutely.
wait forever for
No,
that
I
train.
agree. I would put in place a package of support where maybe we get more commercial activity going on in the stations so that we can fund improvements to them. The problem is they're so far away from these stations, they don't care. They don't see them, they don't use them every day. That's the problem with the government and Network Rail running them. They just don't care enough about transport in the north.
Amber, all of those people in charge, all of those people who have some power over this, if they're watching this, what would you say to them?
Just sort of try and sort them out as quick as you can.
Because they're leaving you behind.
Yep.
Amber, Deanne, Andy Burnham, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.